Hey, we are online. Good afternoon, all participants and speakers. Today is BS Group organizing virtual conference 5G in the shipping industry. I will be the conference moderator. My name is Deniss Bickovs from Port of Riga, and my role is the IT project manager. In our session, we will discuss the benefit of implementing 5G technology to the ports by touching on the following issues. It's a port optimization from the 5G, 5G for smart port infrastructure, smart sensors, properly digitalization of cyber vulnerable ports, and 5G innovation lead in ports. For the interesting discussion, we have conference speakers who has a huge experience regarding 5G and smart port solution. I would like to present our participants and the panelists. Firstly, of course, I also would like to present myself because I'm also including in the panelist, and I have a 13 years working experience in Latvian Coast Guard, responsible for the shipping safety and security, and gain experience in a lot of projects related to logistic, transport, and maritime domain. Example, I implementing such a projects like national single windows in Latvia. Also work with a lot of port community system implementing in the port and VTS systems. I'm leading various meeting, working groups, and organizing, coordinating work with the government and business partner, implementing in real life the smart IT systems, and as well to support Latvian government in EU directive related to the Latvian law. Since the beginning of 2020, support the Latvian Maritime Academy as well for the innovation and IT projects. Our next panelist is Mira Juola from Port of Oulu. She is responsible for the finance and port digitalization. In the Port of Oulu, digitalization project focuses on the developing and utilizing modern digitalization in the port. Multiple actors in the port will collaborate to form a new type of data platform, collecting information about the port functions, traffic streams, and situation awareness. The new digital service and local connectivity capability created as a part of the project and will provide a competitive edge for the port actors and customers. Julia guide for the Port of Oulu digital community with her experience gained in extensive system and business intelligence analytics project. And next, our panelist in Wouter Ears from the Port of Antwerp. He is a team leader's operation. He graduated in informatics. He graduated in informatics, and his work experience in the telecom industries for a telecom provider. Then he been working for almost 10 years in the bank, where the job was more software oriented. 1 year ago, he switched to the Port Authority of Antwerp. He is responsible for digital infrastructure, wireless network, Nautical communication, Internet of Things, working place, and infrastructure. 1 year ago, he thought that 5G is 4G plus 1, but now he knows better what means the 5G technology. And I hope he was explaining more as well to us on our panel presentation and discussions. Jillian Carson-Jackson from the Nautical Institute. She's concerned her career in the Canadian Coast Guard, graduated for the Canadian Coast Guard colleagues and navigation officer with over the 3 decades in the industry. Julian has worked both afloat and ashore in the Coast Guard Canadian, including 10 years as an instructor of the Coast Guard college. Sorry for that. And following an active role at IALA in the development of VTS training, she moved to France to the work with IALA as technical coordination manager. Then moved to Australia to work with the Australian Maritime Safety Authority as manager of vessel traffic and pilotage services. In 2016, Jillian left Australian Maritime Safety Authority to set up her own consultancy focusing on maritime technical advice and education. In May 2020, Jillian was appointed a director of a global met Jillian, representative the Nautical Institute at IALA as a chair of the Engineering Digital Technology Work Group and the Personnel and Training Working Group, BTS Committee. Unfortunately, Jillian Carson-Jackson will be not representative today because the problem, like time differences with the Australian, but we will run her presentation online on our presentation time. I think we have a super team for discussion today, and our today agenda, we will start with a short presentation from each panelist, and in the end we will have a Q&A session. Please do not hesitate, ask your questions and write in the chat, and we will try to do our best to reply on that. Okay, I think the first presentation is from my side about the Freeport of Riga. I will try to share it. Yeah. I hope you can see my presentation, and let's start. Yeah, about the Freeport of Riga, and you can see on this slide, it's our area on the port. We have a total area like 6,100 hectares of our land. We have a maximum draft of the vessels at 15 meters, maximum depth is 16 meters, and total length of the berth 18 kilometers. We still have quite a lot of, not a lot of, but some territories available for the development. It's mentioned on the green coloring. That we still trying to find some investments to build the smart warehouses and some possibility for transit and have export-import cargo to be stored in our these warehouses. It's not located to the river, but also including in the near the port territories. Regarding our IT development in the port, we have 4 pillars main issue about the strategic solution, customer focusing, efficiency, and planning and cooperation. We're trying to work with our port that it will becoming more modern with IT solution. I will be later on explain what we're doing, our project and our plan, and what we also implementing in the port. Of course, we try to be more work with our customers to provide them the good services with cargo exchange and to receive online information from our side. And also from the terminals, because we try also work closely with the terminals and other participants on the port to have all the data information and possibility to share it. You all know that how it's starting growing the port processes. Of course, before, like many years ago, Port Authority working with his own system with traffic registration, invoicing, reporting, and some have analytics modules. But nowadays, of course, it's coming more and more connection with other customers like port terminals, And we already also integrated quite a lot of solution with the terminals. Of course, the port located in the cities as well. And we're also trying to implement some project to have this integration solution with citizens, like for ferry, or is a cruise ship is coming to also share information with municipality buses and public transport as well to share the data. And of course, it's coming more wider with supply chain integration, and we also work with European countries and other ports to share the data about the ship cargoes and what we have available in our system. How you know that not far ago we have quite a lot of offices for the banks, but nowadays also in the COVID time it shows that a lot of people can adapt it and use just smartphones for quite a lot of solution and not needed anymore this the offices, and people can communicate by the software solutions. About our project this year and next year, we are of course working still about the port community system with this data exchange with interesting parties. We're also trying to implement it nowadays, and a lot of discussion about the ECMR document about the land transport, if the truck coming with a cargo to the port, trying to do it automatically. And we have the big project about the port automated and autonomous pass system. The idea on this system that track with the cargo coming to the port and already before has a pre-registered when he coming to our gates, because we in Riga port we have quite a lot of gates and a lot of terminals. And that's very difficult because we need to build this solution with quite a lot of entering pass. But before they coming, they pre-booked his notification that they wanted to pick up the cargo or leave the cargo, and everything goes automatically. The truck coming to the port for the gate, and gate will open automatically. Of course, we have also planning this integration with the customs, border guard, like state institutions, for automatic to check information. Is the data is fully allowing to pick up some cargo from the port. Also for these new solutions and new digitalization, we work with data transmission network. We try to work with this 5G solution, implementing also with our mobile telecom providers. And of course, we are also looking and trying to build our own network for own purposes on the port. And as well, we have innovation and research. But I also mentioned about me that we work with Maritime Academy as well. And we're also trying to test for them some drones for the pilot monitoring. Also, so smart parking placed in the port for the municipality. And also development some solution for emission reduction, and quite a lot of other projects. If there's company wanted to test things on the port, we are all the time welcoming to coming to us and together with us trying to testing and like a pilot and see how it's really showing on the real life. About more details, what I mentioned about these autonomous automatization systems operating in processes, you can see on these slides that how the process will be coming. What I mentioned that before the truck coming to the gates, the car is identifying and scanning. Of course, they will be opened automatically if we will have this pre-registration already, this car. Then we are validated the documents and driver registration on our system. And we build this recognition authorization for the cars, plates, and something scanning as well the cargoes, containers, to see what there may be some differences or not standard situation about some cargo. And of course, these barrier traffic lights and automatic access. Of course, we have our port police in Freeport of Riga, and we have this common and monitoring center where police monitoring all the gates in the port. And of course, planning to have some controlling features like vehicle controlling on the system. Yes, also what I mentioned about this eSMR application, we also work with some pilots on that, because of course still it's quite a lot of paper document, and Latvia is located with neighbored countries, like third countries like Russia or Belarus, and of course it's difficult because it's quite a lot of paper, but we all the time trying to do all the best, and all these documents trying to make its electronic format. Then it will be much easier to implementing and exchange the data and do it's quite a lot of work automatically. We have automatic detection and unmanned aerial vehicle monitoring. Sorry for that. It's like using simple word to say with the drones. We have our cooperation with our big company with a 5G solution testing, and what we are trying to do on this pilot, maybe we don't have a lot of time for that, but my presentation will be available publicly. You can see also here on the video, it's some testing video, how we tested. But main idea was that we wanted to have some drones in our port, and to have this automated monitoring our territory about the oil spill. We make some tests. Also in the second picture, you can see where is software is identify this oil pollution, and also others features like seawoods on the top on the river. But of course that 5G on this case is 5G is really necessary, because that pictures of the high resolution is has a big data, like big size of the data, and to transmit this data for automatical and online checked this information. It must be like with a very high data performance for that. Also, we have some tests with small ships for unmanned surface vehicle. We have built with Academy some small Victoria ship, and trying to fully remotely shipping it also in our river. And they is not like using like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth technology. They use also the 5G communication with that, because just simply from my phone, I can like remotely like driving with this boat somewhere here, maybe in Latvia or maybe outside in Europe. But of course, this idea why we wanted to use also in our port this solution is also for the oil spill monitoring, readiness responsible and liquidation, hydrographic purposes, of course, and safety and security. And maybe some cases we have also in search and rescue purposes, if something happening in our port for the like more faster reaction. If we have some USV on our territories in the port, we can just simply to search the people who has need some helps when the people will be coming for the rescue this problem. These the people. Yeah, sorry. The next our project we are coming also the next 2 years about this vessel traffic modern integration system. We're also looking quite a lot of ideas about the maritime autonomous surface ships, and we're thinking what we can support for the data exchange with the coastal and ships. We also have this with local internet carrier provider DolphNet to provide high-speed network coverage for our approach on the ship. This is only on the pilot stage, and we have equipped some ship and to see how this connectivity with ship-shore network will be working. Yeah, and of course, very important thing about the maritime cybersecurity, because more or less they're coming more and more IT things, electronic system, we more and more implementing in real life. That's why also we, like a port, also thinking and to have this strategy for maritime security, and also some requirements to our customers who are working with our port system or the connection also with the systems. Yeah, I think it's my last slide. Thanks a lot for that. And maybe let's go to the next presentation from Mira Juola. I give you the floor. Floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you, Deniss. Thank you so much for the interesting presentation. Very interesting to see what's happening in Port of Riga. So let me share my screen just a moment. And here we go. And even hiding the little one. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mira Juola, and I work as a head of port digitalization in Port of Oulu, northern Finland. And today I was allowed to have this presentation about our digitalization project called Port Oulu Smarter, and how we are building this digital infrastructure in our port, as we call it. Before going into these digitalization topics, just a few main figures from our port. We are representing small and mid-sized ports, and obviously our digitalization topics are also concentrating on digital projects and topics on our size of port. But as mentioned earlier, let's concentrate today on those matters, so going straight forward. In this digitalization project, Port Oulu Smarter, in a nutshell, what we are doing, we are building up this cloud-based port data platform. And we are gathering and collecting information into that platform, and we are sharing it through our end applications and end user applications, which are at the moment mobile application and our digital twin solution. And we are gathering and collecting this information on top of our digital port infrastructure, which means all the actual concrete devices and, for example, network systems located on our area. It can be sensors or cameras or network solution devices. And as we are collecting this information, it is enabling us as a port authority to provide new type of digital services for our end users. And we are doing all this in a close collaboration and cooperation with our port ecosystem partners. And who are they? This is probably familiar list for all port operators, but let's go quickly through it. We have all these stevedoring operators, they're subcontractors who are working on our area. We have all the vessels, trains, trucks visiting our area. We have agencies and shipping companies, obviously all the maritime operators such as piloting, towing, and even ice breaking on our level. Safety and security operators, area maintenance and waste management, and construction projects. We are constantly in Oulu port. We are taking land out of the sea, so we do have these big infrastructure construction projects which are constantly expanding our area and changing it. So that's these operators and companies are very close cooperation partners for us. And then some other smaller parties, fleet maintenance, customs, and different type of authorities who are very much interested in what's going on in Port of Oulu. And then we have this industrial area right next to us and behind the fence, and whom with we are cooperating, for example, in security topics. And we as a port authority have come to this conclusion that this group of port stakeholders, their joint performance is the overall performance that we want to be as good as possible to ensure these end customers and cargo owners logistics flows. So we think that however the overall performance of our port is performed, that is something that needs to benefit our cargo owner. And as we are even adding these digital development partners into this entity, so we have kind of big and interesting ecosystem to whom we are working with. And let's take a quick look at our digitalization strategy, because I think it's pretty important when starting to think about digitizing port operations that you need to take a step behind and think big. And that is something that we've been doing now for about 4 or 5 years. And we came up with this digitalization strategy. And as there is kind of lots of text in it, so I wanted to highlight with the red color some of the main things from it. So basically, we have built up a vision, which is shown at the top of this picture, and this vision, what kind of drivers and targets do we have for it? We are very much improving the efficiency, the reliability, the visibility of all the traffic and cargo flows going through our area. And then safety and security topics are very much important, not only for the port operators and the employees working on our area, but also for the visitors. And obviously, environmental and sustainability topics nowadays is very much important, especially for our end customers and cargo owners. And then we would like to even profile ourselves as this very visionary development friendly port who is looking towards future with a very digital eye. And as these enablers in the middle of this picture, we came up with these two very important enablers in this strategy work. We see that a cooperation between and among all those stakeholders listed earlier, it's very much critical for our digitalization efforts. So it's very much needed, this cooperation model. And then we were heading this other enabler situation that we needed to renew our mobile network solutions locally on our area. And that is when we came up with the investment decision on this private LTE network, data network that we've been now been able to provide for the port operators now for like 2 years. So we have local private data mobile network. It's working on 4G and LTE technology at the moment, but we are very much taking steps towards the 5G time through it, because even this LTE based private network allows us to run several and most of the use cases that require this efficient mobile network. Yes, and these actual projects, concrete projects in this digitalization path, they are very much related to these traffic and cargo flows going coming to our area and going from our area. So basically we are trying to collect information in advance of all the traffic and cargo flows, and so that we can optimize these traffic flows into our area. And as they are actually approaching these vessels, vehicles, trains, our area, all these smart gate operations are indeed a very significant part of these efforts. We are obviously collecting data in Faes, but also on the gate area. We are taking video streams out of the and we can go back to this approaching and entering our area. And as the gate opens and all these vehicles actually do arrive and enter our area, then we are talking about port area performance and our inner performance. And there we have this very ambitious goal to, digitize basically everything what's going on our area. And we are visualizing this digital image in this digital twin platform, of which I will show you in an example after a while. Yes, and by collecting this information about these traffic flows and our inner performance, we see that we can provide new services for the port stakeholders. And how is this all organized? As mentioned earlier, I told about this data platform, and it's in the very center of all our data collecting. We have built up this port data hub, which is based on Microsoft Azure tools, and we are collecting the information from different type of data sources listed in left side of this picture. Obviously, we have multiple ongoing operative systems in which we have now built up these APIs into to this data hub. And then we are utilizing open data related to vessel calls, ice data, or even weather condition data, and then trains coming in and out of our port area, that sort of things. And then we are utilizing more local sensors and providing us information about the cargo handling and operations, and even these weather conditions, currents in the pool, and even network status, which is very critical for us to be able to provide the status information about our, for example, from our private LTE solution. And then this locationing and position tracking of all these moving vehicles on our area. We want to identify and give them navigation instructions and surveil them. And obviously this is concerning all the moving objects on our area. Very big topic. And obviously video analytics, whether it's on fixed positions or drones, that is something that has been ongoing now for a while. And even this mobile application of ours, we are collecting information in advance, for example, permit access and can be required through that and that sort of things. And then we have even this cloud-based document management system. It's called Faes, Finnish, very modern system for document management, and we have built up this API for that, so that we can, for example, give waste instructions and mapping and that sort of things from our area, and reach the end users in more documentary ways. Okay, and then how do we utilize all this data which is brought together in this data hub? We are sharing it through our end user applications, which are mobile application and this digital twin of ours. And it's a 3D model of our area, but it can also be utilized in a 2D way, for example, instructions and that sort of things. And then we have this icon of analytics, which we see that is very crucial and will be there is a huge potential in analytics, and when utilizing all this history data collected, we can in a future we can build up some predictions and simulations and that sort of things for our end users and customers. And now I will show you an example of our video. I will turn off the music. Yes, here we have a use case example video of our digital twin. Our goal is to utilize this digital twin platform in a very dynamic way. And as mentioned earlier, we are building it as real time and realistic as possible. So we do have lots of sensors, cameras collecting this information so that we can create this virtual digital model of our port. And as shown here, we can see even underneath the surface and underneath snow and ice. In northern Finland, we do have lots of that, and we can build up this and plan the area. And here is an example of our sensors in cranes. We can also plan and simulate different type of lightning solutions, as lightning is the most electricity consuming service of ours as a port authority. And we can plan and simulate other technological solutions as well. As shown here is an example of camera stream. You can actually see what kind of camera stream would there be, and even if there is a camera and you have the access right, you could push the icon and watch the screen. And our goal is to identify and be able to track and contact all these vehicles on our area, and this all can be used in a very in different type of end devices. And one more slide about this digital infrastructure. Sorry about that. We see that these connectivity solutions and network solutions that we utilize in all those use cases, for example, shown in that video, we need very efficient and modern different type of network solutions. This private LTE solution is utilized in the most critical port operations. But obviously, when collecting and transmitting all this information, we do need other older and upcoming technologies as well as 5G. And we've been doing some trialings on 5G, and it's very much coming on our port operation as well. But we do need, for example, IoT network solutions, and as mentioned, all those earlier technology as well. The main goal is to, be able to optimize all the utilization of all these network solutions locally on our area, and that is something that we see that is very much our role as a port authority, and that's why we call this micro operator role for us, so that we can actually provide these network services for the port operators, so that they can concentrate on their main business. And all this we want to be able to do in a very we are very much trying to avoid any kind of vendor locks or technology locks. So those are two very critical and important principles for us in this work. Yes, and then we the data sources, devices, and their APIs. That is something that we are building for ourselves, and we are owning as a port authorities these devices. And a data platform and user app interfaces, they are also built up by ourselves, just to ensure these vendor lock avoidance and technology locks. And obviously, by building up this entity by ourselves, we are making sure that the data, the value itself, belongs to us. So that was pretty much it from the Port of Oulu. I thank you very much for your attention, and looking forward to discuss about these topics.
Yeah, thank you, Mira, for the good presentation. Really interesting also for me, because we also have planning the same ideas about our port. Also wanted to, of course, know in the details about these sensors and so on, how it really works, because it's very interesting. But maybe we will have additional meetings with you to discuss about that. But okay, thanks a lot for the good presentation. Okay, the next our speaker is Wouter Faes from the Port of Antwerp. Wouter, floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you, Deniss and Mira. You put a lot of pressure on me to get an even interesting presentation, but I give it a try. Okay, I hope you can see my presentation. I will tell you something more about how 5G could improve the port operations. First, I will give a short introduction, and then I will take you to the story what we did the last year in the Port of Antwerp with 5G, and what we want to achieve with 5G. Let me first of all introduce myself. So I'm Wouter Faes, team leader at the Digital and Innovation team at the Port of Antwerp. I'm responsible for everything to do with digital infrastructure, like devices, wired and wireless networks, all about nautical technology, like the radars, radio, CCTV networks, and so on and so on. So that's a lot of cool stuff that I'm responsible for. The Port of Antwerp is the second biggest port in Europe, also a big player worldwide. We, as you can see on the slides, we are located in Belgium at about 80 kilometers inland, so we are not a seaport. We are a seaport, but mainly inland. It's a big harbor, also in Square, with a lot of different companies. Also a lot of people that works directly in the harbor. So it's really a massive harbor. Our role as a port authority is defined as a landlord, community builder, a regulator, and also a port operator. We are responsible for the operation into the docks. With our tugboats, I think we have about 15 tugboats. We have locks to operate and many other operations. Okay, the companies located in the harbor are part of a unique chain. We don't only provide cargo handling, but also a lot of logistical players and a whole lot of industry with a big chemical cluster. That makes the port a real test hub to test the possibilities of 5G, and also a place where 5G has a place because it's really business to business oriented. What did we exactly have in the harbor at the moment for 5G? We actually have 3 different networks in the harbor already developed. They are different in with characteristics. We have a private network, we have a public slice on a public network, and we also have a network on the 700 megahertz band, but with LTE technology. So it's really all the different flavors are available at the port at the moment. Our test setup was mainly the same. It's a tugboat with a 5G modem on it and 2 PTZ cameras, because and that way we can test the coverage and we can test the capacity that's available about over the whole square of the harbor. The idea behind the test setup was that one tugboat could send the data to another tugboat when they were pulling or pushing a big sea ship, or in case of emergency, they could send the data to a control room. So there was a use case, but it was also to test the possibilities of 5G. Okay, what did we explore the last year? Like every technology, there's a kind of a hype cycle behind. I think at the moment we are in the truth of disillusionment. In the beginning, we were all passionate about 5G because, yeah, it could solve a lot of problems we have. Now, after 1 year, we explored that most of the things we can do at the moment is really things about the broadband, the bandwidth we get at the technology. The other things are also evolving in the technology, but more broadband is the first thing that's really working well. We also discovered in Belgium, we don't have any legislation about 5G for the moment. We don't have any spectrum except for the test spectrum. There is no legislation about private versus public networks, so there are a lot of things we don't know for the moment. So it's just a test setup, and also the service provider are still thinking, okay, what will be our business model? How do we provide it to the to market? Also technology, because there are only a few technology providers which are busy with 5G. So the service provider are also looking at them to make some evolution. I hope the regulator at the end of this year, we expect that the first steps will be made. Okay, on short term, as I explained, 5G would bring solutions for capacity quests. As you can see, the video is from the first tugboat. It's nice for the moment, and we think there is a use case for it. The first thing is a lot focused on how can we transfer a lot of data through a wireless connection? Because we can't put the cable onto the boats. This could help us to optimize the usage of drones, the use of real-time video streams in case of incident, and the usage of artificial intelligence on video streams. Actually, all of the above is also possible with 4G or LTE, but that would be very costful to do at the moment. With 5G, we believe, and the service providers also promised it, that capacity will be less expensive than it is now. So actually, technology is already capable to do it, but it's more a case about the money. Together with the evolution of edge computing and smarter devices, we believe that AI and 5G will be both and are reliable to each other, because you need edge devices, you need smarter devices, you need a flexible connection, and I think the three are related to each other to get it done in the harbor. On a longer term, it is important for us to use the other advantages of 5G, like reliability, latency, dynamic slicing, and so on. Those features are important, for example, communication slices with a blue light organization, like the police or the firemen. For autonomous barges, even for autonomous barges, the technology already exists. But with 5G, I think it will optimize, because we can put a lot of data between the boats, between boats and control rooms, between boats and other devices. And of course, we also need a reliable network. And then last but not least, at the moment, we already have some IoT devices, but they are all on a different system. Within 5G, we hope that it gives us an answer to get all the devices connected on the same manner. We also believe 5G is, among other technology like edge computing, like smarter devices, a driver for the building of a digital nervous system, like the digital twin of the colleagues. I think we all have the same needs to facilitate a safe and efficient port. More IT sensors connected to communication lines, connected to smarter device. A lot of use cases are provided with those. I think for the moment, a lot of it is a dream far away, but we see the evolution where things are growing to each other. I think between this and 2-3 years, the market will be more mature than it is now. Another example that we do at the moment at the port is, for example, the eye noses, because we have a lot of chemistry in the harbor. They detect smells, they detect gases. At the moment, they work via a 4G connection, but in the future, it would be very interesting that the eye nose could send some data to a camera. The camera could detect the ship or the plant which we think the smells come from, and now we can check and go to the plant and say, hey, you did something wrong, because it's all well legislated. Another example is our echo drone. The echo drone goes through the docks. He takes a picture of the docks and sent it to the dredge boat. At the moment, the echo drone does his trip, then he goes back to the shore. There he gives his data to a control center. In the future, 5G with 5G, it would be able that the drone send the data at real time to the dredging ship, so they can dredge much more to the place that it's needed to be dredged. Now there's always some time behind the measurement and the real dredging. And of course, 5G is really a big enabler for the drone industry. Also there is already some technology that works, but for data transmission, we see a lot of use cases, more from a security point of view. It's not only the steering of the drone, but also, in the first place, the sharing of data. When a drone could send the data directly to us instead of first to a base station, and so on and so on. So we see really a lot of dreaming of the 5G, and where it could enable the use cases. First point of view is security, safety in the harbor, where it would enable a lot of use cases. I hope I have give you some inspiration of how we experience 5G for the moment, and what it could mean for us. Yeah, at the moment, as you can see, it's really a test setup. We are trying, we are testing, we are doing some nice stuff with it, but also, yeah, we lose connection. But that doesn't mean we cannot dream of what we do. The first real use cases to investigate and to get real are really things about connectivity and capacity. Our office in the field, connect our employees when they go into the harbor, the vehicles and boats, which we can provide more capacity than we have now. The usage of drones. By the end of this year, we would like to have our first drones operational. Our second priority is the reliability. How can we provide blue light communication? It's also connectivity about sending camera streams, but also reliable communication line, that when something happens, we can use the slice with quality of service, and so on. And then on a further future, we think about autonomous ships, autonomous drones, but for that we really need, of course, a 5G network which is reliable, which has a quality of service guaranteed, and a lot of capacity against a normal cost. So this was a short presentation of what we did in the harbor.
Wouter, thank you for the presentation. It's, I think, really good explaining for the use cases and why we need this 5G technology. Of course, these camera and data stream and latency is very, very important if we are going like autonomous solutions like that. Okay, thank you, Wouter, for the presentation. Going for our last presentation from Jillian Carson-Jackson. What I mentioned, meaning in the beginning that she will not representative today, but we has her presentation and we will run it. Okay. Please switch on your presentation.
Hello, it is such a pleasure to be with you in this virtual environment. Today I'm going to be talking about 5G implementation in ports, looking at opportunities and challenges. Actually, to begin with, I want to start looking at why do we need to even think about 5G or development of technologies. So identifying the need, I think, is pretty key to what we're going to be looking at into the future. Then there's some opportunities and challenges, which I really want to spend a bit of time looking at some of the developments as well within this changing environment and the expectations that are changing. Finally, ending up by looking at transition, transformation, and a bit into the future. But to start off with, this concept of going digital, and 5G really is that concept of being able to go digital. digital. We hear of smart ships, smart ports, smart phones, smart city. It seems that we're all getting very smarter. Or are we? What does it really mean, this concept of a smart ship working into a smart port within the concept of a smart city? Well, if you think about what a smartphone is, it basically means that you can have connectivity, applications, data, and data exchange using different types of technologies. LTE, 3G, or 4G, or 5G, as we're talking about now. At the core, of this is the fancy technology. Digital data shared over digital networks that are transferred into something that we can make use of. And that really then brings me into, why do we need to think about implementing 5G in ports? Why do we need to have this ability to be technically connected? One of my thoughts is always to look a bit to the past when we're looking at identifying the need for now. In the past, you may not remember this too much. Semaphore, Morse code over the radio. Morse code by lights are still taught and still used in the maritime industry. A lot of paper-based data exchange, information that was still available, but with limited ability to exchange. Then we've moved into now this information explosion. And hopefully we're on the tail end of that information explosion, but we have so much data available to us, sometimes in multiple formats, and it can be difficult for that data to be ingested or to make sense of that information. If you have the ability to actually manage that data, to share that data in a cohesive manner so that you can support safety, can support security and efficiency, support the economy, protect the environment, all of those key words, by knowing what information is available and mixing that together, interacting with that information to provide valuable insights through decision support and support your interactions with other vessels and with other people in the maritime industry. So I think the past, we've gone from very analog into an information explosion, digitization, not digitalization initially. We're moving into a digitalization where we're making benefit of that digital data, but into information management. And information management must be supported by technology, by policy, with strategy and strategic plan, with a strong governance framework that ensures interoperable systems. So we're not looking at technology in isolation, although today we're focusing on one aspect of technology, which is 5G. But in order to have information management, we must have these pillars that work together cohesively to move to a coordinated, integrated, shared information platform, a stable platform for sharing of information. So now we've looked at the why. We want to ensure that we have this cohesive approach to information management, looking at better sharing of data. What are some of the opportunities and challenges? Well, one of them is the one that we're dealing with right this very moment, and that is the challenge of the COVID-19 response. And it really has led to a lot of innovation and a lot of rethinking how we operate, how we work. Within the maritime environment, there are two key UN specialized agencies, and both of them are focusing on looking at the future, the development of how we will respond to and work following the pandemic. So the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union Secretary General, has said that as the world recovers from and adjusts to the new normal created by COVID, there is a need to build back better. And in order to do that, information and communication technologies are going to be at that core. The International Maritime Organization Secretary General Kitak Lim has indicated that increased automation in shipping has led to the potential to enhance safety and improve performance. And we know that. We looked at that already with our information management approach. The IMO is working to ensure that shipping can embrace this digital revolution and ensuring safety, environmental protection, cybersecurity, and using these digital technologies as a key, noting the need for standardization to enhance the efficiency of shipping. So part of that why also links into our opportunities and our challenges. A little bit more into the ITU now, and thinking about International Mobile Telecommunications, or IMT. And now looking at the upcoming activities that happen in the ITU, IMT 2020 and beyond, looking to what the future of IMT. Now, in the ITU, there are two main sectors that are dealing with this international mobile telecommunications. The radio communication sector, the ITUR, and the telecommunication standardization section, the ITU-T. Now, linking this to IMT 2000, IMT Advanced, and IMT 2020 is the IMT vision for ITUR M2083. And if we think of IMT, IMT actually is what we have communicated normally or in the common language as 3G, 4G, and 5G. So that IMT development, that international mobile telecommunications, directly links into this concept of 3G, 4G, and 5G. And you can see the significant increase in data as we're going. You know, in 2001, 384 kilobits per second. 2009, 100 megabits per second. And here we are in 2020, moving into this 10 gigabits per second. Through the development of the IMT 2000, IMT Advanced, and IMT 20, we have seen this development of digital communications, 1G, 2G. Probably weren't too aware at the 1G, 2G level, really came into our common usage and our common operations when we got to 3G, 4G, and now we're looking at 5G and beyond. In the maritime industry, we have also been developing specific technologies using digital data to support the maritime. Digital select was very first, the automatic identification system. Now we have the specific spectrum allocated by ITU for the application-specific messages, and of course the VHF data exchange. And you can see the difference within those bandwidth and the capability, meeting different needs. Again, it goes back to knowing why we need to have this data exchange. The digital communications environment within this 3G, 4G, 5G, you probably heard of 3GPP, the third generation partnership program. This all links also into the concept of the reasons why these verticals, these standard development organizations. So you have this concept of a horizontal at the bottom of the telecommunications, but each specific industry, specific area that requires this Internet of Things, this digital data exchange, has what they call a vertical. And for the first time, as we're looking at the development of 5G, maritime has a role within the 5G maritime. There's a vertical for maritime. And that means that while 3G and 4G were not developed with a maritime operational requirement in mind, 5G is. And that gives us some significant opportunities into the future. And it really highlights this changing environment. Now, within this changing environment are a lot of expectations, things that might be intangibles, but they are definitely there. There is this public perception and expectation that we will have connectivity at all times everywhere. There's the influence of social media on how governments manage. We look at the lead up to the American election, the use of Twitter in various areas, not just now for social interaction, but also linking it to policy and procedure development. There are commercial pressures that are continuing, and we're feeling them right now, definitely during COVID. Significant weather events continue to affect how we operate and the need for this communication. But we are seeing the haves and the have-not, that digital divide, if you will, where some areas and some aspects have a lot of great connectivity, but others do not. But we need to look at all of this also within the Sustainable Development Goals from the UN. And these all have a role to play as we move forward. And there's a specific concept within the maritime industry. These developments and expectations, specifically in the maritime industry, are linked to regulations. The integration of systems, where we're starting to see more data working together to provide us with enhanced knowledge, better information, decision support capabilities. Ship sizes and capabilities are changing, and there's this blurred line now happening between ship and shore. This interconnectivity, this expectation back to that always being connected is now dividing that line, sort of blurring that line between ship and shore. We're looking now at virtual and augmented reality, as well as increased autonomous systems. So developments and expectations are all within this changing environment. When I took on the role of president of the Nautical Institute, I highlighted that one of my main challenges for the coming 2 years is how to address all this impact, all this technology. What is going to be the impact of the person, on the maritime professional? How can we ensure that we're moving forward with this technology, with the implementation of 5G in a human-centered digital society? And where does artificial intelligence fit within all of that? And thinking of that, we also need to look at security, the data exchange, the data economy, and our own personal digital data footprint. In May, in the time before COVID-19, the OECD Council approved recommendations on artificial intelligence and agreed the standards that were identified as being both practical and flexible to withstand a rapidly evolving field. And really, that's where we're at right now. We're into this concept of transitioning and transforming the maritime industry by making best use of technology. Now, 5G will have, and 4G already has had, but 5G will have an increasing emphasis within this transformation of the maritime industry. But we must maintain that focus on requirements. Why do we need the technology? What is it going to support us to do? And then where are the standards to drive that, to ensure interoperability? Looking to the future, how are we going to move beyond digitization to digitalization and then to the digital transformation? Using this technology to improve, to grow, and to enhance. Considering the why and the who. Not merely making what we do now digital, but looking at what we can do and how to do it better. This concept of looking at IMT 2020 and beyond. In the maritime industry, we need to look as well at adapting or adopting technologies, adapting or adopting systems, one of those pillars of our information management, so that we don't keep reinventing the wheel, but we make best use of the technologies and have this opportunity for interaction, a smart ship into a smart port within a smart city. And learn from the work of others. We have to learn that we must be agile, we're not going to be perfect, and we must remember that what we need today will not be what we need tomorrow. have. And we can't even imagine what we will need. But the most important part of that, the most exciting part of this is now that opportunity to be innovative and not to seek perfection, but if we chase perfection, we can reach back. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we are finished with our presentation, and I think we can switch going to our Q&A session, question and answers, and we have already a few of them. And maybe starting from the first question from the Terry Dusseler. I see you started around this, but digitalization, but I don't understand the added value of the 5G. Does it mean that as of today, current network 4G Wi-Fi prevents you from developing your project? I try to answer on that. Of course, no, we are still developing the software and move forward with the project. But I think on the Wouter presentation was quite good explanation why we need this 5G and why we need this data transmission of the with the big data, like in video. If you wanted to have this high resolution video, then it must be like good connection on the network. Dear panelists, if you have any more some added, please do not hesitate just to also add something. Okay, let's go further from the Portugal. Josh was asking which manufacturer of 5G equipment you are using or planning to use. From my side, maybe Wouter will explain more, but from our side, we just testing this 5G technology with our mobile provider telecoms. It's not our private network, but we testing it with a mobile provider. That's why from my side, it's very difficult to reply what kind of equipment and company we use. Wouter, maybe you have some experience? Okay.
We used the equipment of the four big players which are capable for the moment: Nokia, Ericsson, ZTE, and Huawei. But maybe like some of you know or don't know, but in Europe there's a lot of discussion about some critical infrastructure and the use of Chinese equipment. And in Belgium, there's also the decision made that critical infrastructure is critical and may not be used by Chinese equipment. So in the future, we mostly will use Ericsson and Nokia technology, because for the other manufacturers, there is not much on the market for the moment.
Yes, good opportunity to talk about Finnish high technology. Obviously, in Finland and in our 5G trialings, we are utilizing Nokia technology and their base stations. And obviously, this neutrality, it's a neutral operator and technology provider. And this same discussion is also ongoing here in Finland about these critical infrastructures and how to utilize technology from Asia or from another world. So good to have a home-based technology provider.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, let's go to the next questions. Pierrot from France, addressing the questions to Mira about the Oulu and the terminals. His company work on 3D and 4D models. And the question is about the station awareness. You address real-time station awareness. Does this include the condition of the docks and their underwater parts? Are you using the digital twins to get a view of underwater structures? Has it allowed you to reduce survey and maintenance costs?
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, the condition of the ducks very much in the center of the situational awareness and security topics when monitoring what's on the dock. Is there any cargo leftovers or anything that doesn't has to be there? So very much about the condition of the docks. At the moment, the underwater parts, the model is more static related to underwater parts, but we do have discussed and searched for the sensors which would be bringing up the information, dynamic information about the underwater parts as well. But at the moment, it's more static information. And yes, to reduce survey and maintenance costs, that's pretty much in the center of these trialings and testings.
Okay, thanks, Mira. I hope we are answering. But if you want to
Yes.
know something in details, also send the new questions. Okay, let's go on. Thanks for the interesting presentation from Vasil Line. I am wondering if you anticipate any challenges related to cybersecurity arising from 5G and use cases. Okay, of course, about the cybersecurity is very important. Also, these use cases to understand some possibility attacks, but of course, from our side, we don't have a specific challenges for that nowadays. But of course, it's just a network, and we will be ready for secure our network like LTA or 5G. Okay, let's go. It's for me questions. Mana Baumgars about the 6G. And the question is, Deniss, you mentioned in presentation, 5G technology has not reached many parts of the world yet, and the race of 6G has already begun. What is your opinion related to 6G? Yeah, it's a really interesting topic that we are not still like using the 5G in quite a lot, but 6G already starting to speak in Asia. But the 5G technology, of course, it's needed more or less for industry side, not like for simple user, because nowadays we use our LTA on mobile phone. I think it's more enough for these like people purposes. But this 5G technology coming more for industry, and that's why we need to work more and more with these use cases and understand why we need this high performance data transmission. I don't have experience in about the 6G, but I was reading something what's happening in Asia, and all these big countries wanted to be the first of the planet and to show that they have already new technology. I also hope that European, like we are Commission and European countries also can be like together with ASEAN and will be also produce something new technology and faster implementing new solutions. Okay, let's go to another. Jorge Martin. Oh, where it's going. We are seeing system enhanced with the adoption of 5G, but has any system been developed especially in connection with 5G? From our side, no. We developing some system which, of course, can using also LTA, 4G, 5G, also our radio communication network, our own. No special connection for the 5G. I don't know. Yeah.
Deniss, I also think what we saw, for the moment, there are not really devices which can connect directly to 5G, some handhelds, but that's really, really minimal at the moment. And I also think the use case are not really developed yet in our minds, the business, to get some systems which connect really to the 5G at the moment. It's really about capacity, the modem. It's like a wireless, a wired wireless connection that we see.
Like
yes, and I also think that
maritime. Okay, does 5G technology support sustainable energy and contribute to energy efficiency? Mira, yes, you can say something.
Yes, I was just bringing up this. I think that logistics and maritime business, they are kind of a traditional and conservative business as well. So at least from our point of view, I see that in ports there are lots to do with these current technologies already, and with LT in, and obviously those most critical port operations are taking care of these wireless requirements with the current LT. But as ports are coming into more autonomous and automated time, so it's kind of crucial to have also these new technologies, 5G, and even cyber security brought up earlier is one main points, and you can slide the capacity and what actually we can already do in our private LT work. So, but basically, so that you can allocate the capacity. That's one of the main capabilities of 5G, and very much required and needed.
Okay, let's go to the next question. Does 5G technology support sustainable energy and contribute to energy efficiency? Who can support me to answer that?
Well, obviously, when improving the efficiency and the visibility of the port and the situational awareness for all the port stakeholders, so it's in a way it's definitely going to help us to preserve the environment, little pollution and that sort of thing. So I think so, yes, very much indeed.
Yeah, I think it's a good example.
I also think it's a question with two answers. On one side, we can measure a lot more. We can see, monitor a lot of systems that we can not monitor for the moment. In Belgium, I've seen a use case where they put some sensor on a 5G on a machine with 5G technology, and with that sensor they could measure the electricity, and per device it a cost efficiency of 150 euros per weekend. So with 10 machines, 25, yeah, that's a big. But on the other hand, yeah, all the sensors need to be fed, all the antennas needs to be fed. So it's. But one of the things that 5G also promises to deliver devices with less consumption of electricity. So, but it's a promise that we have to wait for.
To look. Okay, the next question is to all of us, for us, like Theodore Florea, asking to answer why, in the terms of 5G implementation, Europe staying behind Asia and North America, despite the fact that there are many technology companies in Europe. From my side, I think because these like biggest countries, and they has in a lot of money for trying implementing in real lives, because of course we also have quite a lot of use cases, but it's still that quite expensive, and maybe also that not so many companies we have like they have for some reasons, I think. Mira, what do you think about that?
Well, yes, definitely so, and obviously the government of China is very much to do with the fact that there are so huge resources in for example in China, but I truly believe that this European neutrality will be the competitive advantage bringing to these European companies. So I truly hope for the Nokia and Ericsson to raise up and get this leap towards these Asian and American companies.
Yeah, because also that the manufacturing it's also moved to Asian countries, and that's why maybe it's also European, but manufacturers in China. That's why it's like sometimes also interesting. Who is the owner like on that? Wouter, do you have something to say about that?
No, I think like you both said, yeah, Asia has more. They also do some research and development. We have invested a lot of 4G and LTE networks. So yeah, the step is a little bit bigger for the next step. In India, they've got a greenfield where they can put something, and they can make a lot of more speed than we can do in Europe. Also due to legislation and laws, radiation laws, etc. So.
Yeah, the next question is Valentina Stanchu about what prevents the implementation of 5G on a large scale? What is the main challenges, expect cost, and how it can be solved? Because this is main solution is like to find the use case. It's very important to find the use case. If there are some use cases, and of course some additional areas implementing it. But like on this large scale, I think maybe it's not the time to implementing for like the citizens. Maybe they don't need it. I know that like in Arabian countries that all have already 5G, but I don't know how many they can use it on the phone. I think it's not so necessary. Mira, do you also say something about that? No?
Well, I think it's the question was it mentioned large scale. I only look from the very local point of view, and it's all about local 5G capabilities and devices, the maturity of all these port cycles to renew their devices. It's kind of long path, and we need to take it one step at a time.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's go to the next. From the Portugal, Josdes and Bandier, asking about the forecast information about previewed arriving ship into a terminal. Someone uses any platform or app. We have only our forecast information in our Freeport of Riga homepage, but we are not pushing this information like for the ship. And I also think that the ship don't have, they still that not connectivity with the shore and ship, how we can do that. Of course, it's we can publish it. I don't forget the system, but no, we use only in our homepage. If somebody interesting, then can just to check the forecast about the Port of Riga, but no, not using it especially. Okay, let's go on about what for the all speakers. What do you think? How the acceleration of 5G technology implementing to the port can be possible? I think it's implementing in the port also. It's depending on the user cases. Like if we wanted to implement solution with the drones and monitoring about the oil spill and do it like in real life, in like all the data will be streaming online, then we will be really implementing 5G in all ports to receive this data. That can be only the one way why we are do that, accelerate it.
And yes, and one should also remember that all these vessels, stevedoring machines, their life cycle is such a long. It can be the vessel can be built up to last for like 40 years. So the question really is how to combine this very new technology upon all these devices and this old infrastructure that we all have in our port. So how to combine these to these dinosaurs from the Stone Age and then this new technology. So lots of that sort of questions to be asked and answered.
Yeah. Okay, let's go about I want to ask about the 5G and electromagnetic field connection. How does 5G affect MF? I'm not a technical guy, and for me, it's very. I think I cannot answer on that. But I think the 5G is like user-friendly.
Me too. Don't throw out the towers.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next. Luciano from Italy. Sorry, will you publish the link of the event registration? In your opinion, how can 5G technology support cybersecurity? Yeah, I think the BS group will be publishing this link. I hope, but of course, our presentation will be available. Some of them about how can 5G technology support cybersecurity. Support, I don't know. We need to think about to secure the network, but how the 5G support the cybersecurity, I don't know. Wouter, do you have idea about that?
I know, but that's even in a later stadium that 5G provides some security solutions, also the private slicing, machine-to-machine communication, but that's all I know.
Yeah, then Franco Ardito asking about any negative effect of 5G technology for the environment of the ports, especially the sea life. I think no, because it's not easy. Everything is what under the water is not impact the network solution. I think I mentioned also I'm not IT, not like so many technical guy of that. But I think no, it's not some impact of the environment issue from the 5G network.
I think we also have to realize 5G as a big radio appliance, but it's mainly the same like 4G and 3G, etc. And a big thing of 5G is, of course, the core network, which is located in the data centers. So all about radiation and electromagnetic fields is somehow a non-discussion, we believe.
Okay, I think we have the last question in our session. Thank you for the presentation. Who do you think is responsible for the implementation of the network rollout? ESP, Port Authority, or individual private companies? Currently, with 4G technology, there are enough problems to get the ports fully covered. Black stop, latency issues, package loss, etc. How do you provide this with 5G, or which the coverage is more limited? 5G antenna have a range of about 200 meters. From Port of Riga, of course, we don't think in our private network. And if we will try to implement this 5G solution in our port, we will work with our local mobile provider companies and to try to cover all our ports or all this area what we will need it for the future. It will be work like that. About this range, of course, we have our towers, equipments where we can put these antennas, and we will have a cooperation agreement. We will give them the place, and they put the equipment. But it depends of the needs of this concrete area and user case of that. Colleagues, what do you think about that?
Well, I could. I agree, and I think that let's not forget about the fact that they are still developing the 4G technology as well. And as I mentioned in my presentation, we strongly see that all these network solutions which are available should be used and in a very optimized way locally. So at least I don't think that 5G is ever going to solve any of our all of our problems, but combining this technology, that could be the solution.
Yeah, okay. I think that's we answered on all the questions, and time is running up. We already delay, I think, for 10 minutes. Thank you all. Thank you, the panelists. Thank you, Mira, Wouter, for good presentation. And thank you also who are participating for your questions. And keep in touch if you need also from us some ideas, contact, brainstorming something who are interesting, something more interesting about some details, information from our ports, or you can just also writing on LinkedIn or finding in homepage the emails, and we'll happy to also answer on that. Okay, thanks a lot, and I think we can finish our panel and event today.
Thank you, Deniss and Wouter. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Stay safe.